All right, let me see. Led Grady's day to day. Obviously looked at it today. It was I think it was good news, good sign of the imaging and all that type of stuff. I don't know the exact terms, but I think he'll be like feeling better than he felt yesterday. So let's just say that. And Drake has the hit pointer. I'm thinking that's day to day. That'd be the little pain tolerance deal, and I definitely have a better feel on Thursday. We'll see what Wednesday entails and what that looks like, but I definitely have a better feel for that on Thursday. And anybody else in the game?
Not in the game, but
Troy was close last week. No, he was close last week, and I think this week may be the turning point for us and potential of getting him active this week and seeing what he can do. And then JD, obviously in the protocol and still trying to pass all those things that you got to go through that process, and I'll have more information on him as well tomorrow. I think that was it.
Well, Coach, the Saints will be different for sure this time around. How will y'all try to proceed and get ready as best you can?
It's on offense. It'll be, same coordinator doing a lot of similar things that they've done. Got a lot of respect for the defense coordinator and Joe Woods and what he's going to be able to do. I'm assuming he's going to probably call it at this point with Dennis Allen moving on. Rizzy's going to definitely go in there and do what we did in 20 and try to apply his personality to what they've currently been doing. When a coach gets fired in that situation, everything they were doing is not bad. Everything Dennis Allen wanted to do or try to move forward wasn't terrible. It's just about you applying your message and getting those guys to go out there and play for you. We know how well coached and good of a coach Rizzy is and some of the things he can do. So, we better show up ready to go because we know what it looks like from the other side. So we got to prepare for that.
That new coach bump, the new voice, usually energizes players. You've been in that position before, yourself.
Sure.
What is it like in the locker room around practice that first week when it's a new voice? I mean, how energized are players in those moments?
Honestly, it's awful, to just be – no, I'm being transparent here. It is a bad feeling. He just put me back to the day when Quinny got fired. And he got fired that night. We went home from a tough loss from Carolina. And you wake up and you're the interim head coach. And you're the interim head coach and you got to address the team. And all of them are done differently. All of them done with a different amount of respect. And I wanted Quinny to be on that first meeting, and he was for me. And he was on that Zoom. And then whenever he went to go after that. And then after you have your first team meeting with your guys, you address everything that just happened and what we got to do, what we're going to do moving forward. And then you go about your regular Tuesday and you prepare for what you want to do when the guys get back on Wednesday and what it's going to look like. And when you get back to that day on Wednesday and you get to that practice, you want some things to be different and you want it to be how you want to do it and you want to be able to have some of the stuff that you want to do. So, you don't change everything, but you definitely have some subtle changes where it feels different, it is a little different, and how you want to go about your process. And that answer is probably way too long for what you were looking for. But, you put me back in that moment of exactly what happened and when you want to do it and how you want to do it.
Players are more energized when they have a voice? Does it feel like they're more energized?
You don't feel that at the moment because it is still a little somber feeling around the room because, it's not like these players are happy when their head coach gets fired. I'm in all cases. In my case, it wasn't that. And I'm sure it's not that case in New Orleans. I'm sure there's some guys that got a lot of love for him. You're talking about a long-time coordinator for the Saints. You're talking about a 3-year head coach for those guys, a guy in a second opportunity, a guy that's been able to go out there and win some game and bring some of them guys in and all that type of draft some of those guys, all the different things that go along with it. So, but there's definitely a little bit of an energy when you get to the practice field because you still want to go out there and play because everybody's playing for their livelihood at that point.
Was there a chance that Drake could have come back in? He was on the sidelines for a long time during that.
He was trying to work it out. I don't know, Mark, what the real chances were, but he was definitely on the sideline for a long time in equipment trying to work it out and then eventually ended up in gray sweats and I knew he wasn't going to make it at that point, but he was trying. I think he was trying to work it out.
Matthew Judon, I don't know if it was a season low number of snaps, but it was only about 50%. Was that a factor that you wanted to get more guys in the rotation, or did you want to give him some rest? Do you feel like he needs to is he laboring at all?
No, Josh. No, this is not a laboring thing. It's about a production thing, right? We had to find ways to get pass rush and get guys fresher and get people on the field. And, we were able to do that yesterday by changing up that rotation. And it actually made us a little more productive, right? We got a couple people hit the quarterback, got a couple more hits. Matthew himself made a play on the quarterback and knocked it down that screen. It was about finding ways to be more productive. And we would do just about anything to find production in those areas where you're having some struggles at and you got to try to find some success. And that was one of our moves and one of the things that we had to find out where to go do. And it's It's coaching, it's playing, it's finding ways to do it together and getting everybody to play harder and better and execute a little bit better.
Is D'Angelo Malone, how did D'Angelo Malone play in his snaps?
Gave us great energy. Obviously he didn't get the sack production, but like his running out the stack, his rushing the passer, had a couple really good bull rushes. Able to turn and run down some people on some of the lower check downs and things of that nature. Those safeties 3 and 31 kept a big time roof on the coverage, didn't allow any explosives, and so when that happens, that goes to check downs and to watch those guys run out the stack, AK, D Malone, and all of those guys up front. It's certainly nice, and it was good for him.
Well, I don't want to, again, the offense is working well. You're scoring points, and I won't nitpick stats here just for you. But my point, I guess, do you get a sense with even though how things are going that there's still some points being left on the board?
Oh yeah, is this what we talk about every day? So like I said, kind of said it last week, but it's like I hate to cut you off, but it's like how good can the offense be? What is the ceiling? I kind of challenge those guys to that, and it's like, what do we look like if we don't have those early setbacks with the 3 penalties that we had on the holding? That was a big-time run. On the other holding that was kind of questionable from Jake. On the offsides penalty where we set our back and really stopped drives, right? Because the times we're stopping ourselves, the times we're getting stopped, we're almost stopping ourselves. So, like, they're definitely getting better. Like, it got better even throughout the second half when we were able to go down. And then at the end of the games, like, how do you close those games out better in those 4-minute moments? How do you find ways to close things? So it's definitely being some stuff being left out there. And I'm really excited where the offense is, and so are they. But, like I said, man, about everything, it's a growth mindset. So you're continuously going to be looking for ways to get better and better every time.
What are your thoughts on the evolution of Zach Robinson as a play caller for the first 9 games?
I mean, he's done a great job. Let's just say that. And it's like, he's like Kirk, right? Where he kind of is judged based on how Kirk looks and what he does. And like, you cannot say that they just hadn't gotten better every single opportunity that we've gone out. And I know I said last week this was the cleanest game Kirk's played, but then he comes out and does almost the exact same thing and plays almost cleaner game. And it's like, how is that even possible? And it's like, yikes. And it's just like one of those things. So it's like, you got to say what they're doing and how they're growing and how they're getting better and better every single week has been awesome.
Is that a growing chemistry that you're seeing between Kirk and Zach?
I just have to simply on that one just say yes. I mean, it is. It really is.
After week 1, people were kind of calling for Zach's head a little bit after
I mean, that's the
Pittsburgh game. It's like the offense was at a source
eons ago.
That's the
years ago now.
That's the case wherever you're at. There's always the overreaction and the underreaction. Like it's right now, like the overreaction. Now, reality, the expectations is to score every time you're out there, right? But it's like the search for perfection in this imperfect game is real. That's just what it is.
Go ahead.
With the trade deadline tomorrow and kind of Troy Anderson's timeline and all of that, how do you weigh those two things, saying, hey, we could potentially get an impact player back for our defense? Do we then, need to bring outside help? Like, how does that all work out in these discussions?
The best part about that is, like, I don't have to worry about that nearly as much as weighing the options, right? You get called when those opportunities come up. You can look at them. You can evaluate the things that potentially going to happen. And then those discussions happen with myself, Terry. More than likely when those big decisions like that or how big the decision is, you involve the owners. When I say owners, I mean the boys and our owner and the main big dog. But, like I don't even have to worry about that. When those opportunities come up, I'll kind of rise to the occasion and see what's happening, anything that can fit for us and make us go well and see what's getting better. You're constantly trying to get better all the time. So, like, whatever has a chance to do that and get you better, you'll try to do.
Just make it easy. Tell us who you're targeting. We can discuss it all day.
Yeah, I think.
You guys, the confidence level, it feels palpable at this point. I'm sure it feels that way in the locker room with the guys. Given how well you're playing, is there a danger to the confidence being at its height at this point in the season?
That is a tough question. The old peak too early type thing you're talking about?
Well, every game is decided by 1 or 2 plays, right?
Yeah.
There's a tendency, at times that we know some teams are better than others. I know you guys don't say that, but we know that. And sometimes you just rest on your laurels a little bit too much and expect that, your not best effort is good enough because you're confident that we're always going to have our best effort.
I think if you ever go out there with that you're not going for your best effort, that's when you get in trouble. That's when you look like Seattle and you get your butt kicked, right? So, like, we've learned that lesson. So that's some of the stuff we talk about from lessons learned. You know, when we didn't play as well that day and for whatever reason, and all those things happen, you got to go out there and correct them. So, like, every time you go out there, it's got to be a gray matter mentality that who you're playing against don't matter. It's really about your goals, your obsession to be great, your obsession to be the very best version of yourself that you can be that day. And I think that's just the simple fact we got to focus on. So it's like, you know, what's the ceiling? You know, what's good enough? You know, now it's like, how do I become my very best self today, every day?
Does the confidence feel like it's at its highest point yet?
And you know, I don't know. You know, like, I don't know. It's just like what I said, like with the offense, what's our ceiling? What's our ceiling on defense? Like, you know, we're getting better there. Like, what's the ceiling on special teams? Like, every single week, I feel like they're making a play, whether it be denying a 4th and 2 or tackling the guy on a fake reverse or making a play in the end zone on a muff punt or blocking a kick or whatever. I mean, what's the ceiling across the board when all the execution is getting done at a high level?
Is there I know y'all are trying to get a lot done at the line of scrimmage, and the longer Kirk can be there and sort of figure things out, the better off he is. I wonder, is there a cap on the amount of time you want those big men in their stance? Is there like a number out there that y'all think, you know, 15 seconds is kind of a long time to ask those guys to be, or am I making too much of that thought?
I think you're right, Josh.
Okay.
You know, I don't see a real thing there. You got 15 seconds to talk to him, from the quarterback, Mike, from Zach to Kurt, and then sometimes you take pictures of the defense, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get up there and you're able to go quick. Sometimes you're able to change tempo. So, like, I think we change tempo so much, whether it's on the ball, going fast, on the ball, taking pictures, on the ball, doing whatever we want to do, getting in the huddle, the cadence. It's like a rhythm, you know. It just becomes a rhythm of football, and like I don't think the guys look at it as sit in the stands. Unless you know something I don't know. They're talking to you,
No, I
Josh.
feel like I've heard an offensive lineman say, you know, there is a threshold for how long we're sitting in terms of a pre-snap penalty.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to ask me to be crouched down there for 20 seconds, I don't want to hear you complain. And this is not for any of your guys. This is not anything specific.
No, yeah.
This is a thought that I've heard.
I think that's something that we practice. So, like, it's something that we work on constantly. I think if you try to throw it on somebody without knowing or knowing what's going on, I think, yeah, I'm sure that's a factor. But, like, I mean, we seem to practice it all the time, and that's what we do.
Forgive my ignorance. When you say take a picture, what do you mean?
Looking at the defense, what they're doing. You line up fast, and then what are you going to do on defense? You got to get lined up.
Okay.
What's that look like, you know? Take a picture.
The last possession where you went for 2, 14 points at that point, right? 20.
Did I go for 2?
Right? Did we go?
No, I didn't do that on purpose. You talking about the snap we dropped?
Yeah. Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah. We just dropped the snap.
It was labeled as, okay. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
No, yeah, I didn't. I was thinking, I called the 2-point play yesterday. No,
Snap on that, that's right, okay.
we just dropped the snap.
Just went back and looked at my control. No, wait a minute, did they go for 2?
No. Well, Bradley made it look like it. He was pumping. No. We just dropped the snap.
I mean, analytics, how much is that part of, you know, at that point, like, you know, 15 versus 16 versus 14 versus 15 kind of deal?
Yeah, it's all huge. You know, that wasn't one of the particular situations right there we were kicking at, but, like, you know, like we definitely look at all that stuff, and it's definitely situations that come up every single week. You know, there's always things like, even for us right now, having the pole position, ties don't mean anything to us. You know, there's certain things out there that analytics tell you. So it kicks into everything that you do when it comes to from about 4th down decisions, when it comes to about 2-point conversions, you know, when you start going for 2. It definitely is something that you use as a guideline. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, I got to make the decision on game days.
You guys have set a crew of people to do the analytics thing for you, or is that just a?
We have a whole department. You know, we got a whole team in there. You know, all of those guys, Carl and all those guys lead it, and Danny Leskins and all the guys that are able to go give us all these stats and different things. And they give you a bunch of numbers, and you got to somehow take out of what you can and be able to look at it and use it how you can use it. And then, you know, we got people that see it different ways and get a couple different ideas and go make decisions. Play ball. Can I go away now?
Did
Nice.
the analytics people ever come back and say, hey, let's get in a wishbone and run these people over?
No, but
Then I'll be
but-
down with
but,
that.
that's never been said.
Never been said, huh?
You do get some things, some obscure things sometimes that's pretty funny.
Okay.
You know, you'll hear like, you know, some of the percentages and certain things. You're like, yeah, I know, you know, but it's we never got to actually get in the wishbone and run people over.
Okay.
I don't think that's coming back, Led.
No.
It might though. You never know, man. Football goes in cycles,
I
man.
know the analytics people never say just QB sneakers. They never say that.